This is Strawberry Needlepoint mini video for the Peppermint Nutcracker by Initial K Studio. So this video is going to talk a little bit about the Nutcracker's hair. I wanted this idea of kind of like loose hair as I would sort of imagine him being. And you'll notice on the canvas that it's painted light gray and dark gray. So in order to achieve that look, to stitch this and then to stitch this center part could look like too much contrast, and hair naturally doesn't look that way. So there are multiple options, but one option is to combine slightly different grays together so that you cannot quite determine where one stops and where one begins, but you can tell that there is a little bit of dimension based on the colors. So the stitch that I've chosen here is the jump through the loop turkey work. Many people think about turkey work when we cut the loops, but we can also make the loops really small and kind of make him look a little wild, which is what I'm personally going for as the person who's chosen the stitches for this design. When we start jump through the loop turkey work, we actually start with a line waist knot. Now, typically we would do it on the same line, but because we have this curve right here, this should be okay for us to start kind of down at this angle before we begin. So jump through the loop turkey work, you would go through a hole. So let's call this A, and we go back into the hole. So we're going in and out of the same hole, all right? And we're gonna pull it down so it's about the same height as the hair over here. The reason I have stopped here is because I wanna show you what that will look like, but also because I want to give the sense of how we make the decisions. And we do know for certain that a crown is definitely gonna kind of like make hair, you know, kind of scrunch down a little bit. So we want it a little shorter up here, a little shorter on the sides, and then it can be fluffier here in the middle. So I'm gonna pull this out just a little bit. Then I'm gonna hold this up. Now, another option is to use a tapestry needle to hold it or your laying tool. But for the sake of the demo, I'm just gonna hold it with my finger. It's wool and it should really be okay with that. Just keep in mind to always make sure to wash your hands. All right, so I'm looking, and this needs to be probably pulled down a little bit. Now, I am in A and B are in the same hole, and I have gone down one canvas thread and have come up through that canvas thread, and let's call that C. Now, the name of the stitch gets its name because you jump through the loop with a needle and thread. You still have the opportunity here to pull this a little tight, like more taut if you want to make that loop smaller, which I think I'll actually do. And then I will go one canvas thread above to complete my locking stitch. Now, this stitch, you have to start, this type of turkey work, you start at the top of the canvas element and then work your way down like I have done here. So you can see that the stitches end here, and then I'll start a new piece of thread and just keep moving horizontally, left to right, right to left. All right, so I'll go ahead and do the next one. I'm gonna pull through. If I feel like this is getting in the way, then all I have to really do is just move my finger over and get it out of the way. So I'm doing this for the example of the demo, but we're going to pull through in and out of the same hole for our loop. Then we're going to come down, and I notice that I'm catching the passing thread in the back, and I'm gonna go ahead and jump through the loop. I usually like to pull it down for this hair because it's usually a little shorter than I intend. But I mean, I want it to be shorter, right? Like I want that to be a little shorter. So before I pull it really tight with my locking stitch, I'm just gonna kind of make it the length that I want to. But keep in mind, his hair is really curly. So, you know, creative choices here to kind of create the look that you want to. All right, now that I've done this top row, I'm now going to do the next row. I'm gonna go one canvas thread below where my vertical stitch went, and I'm gonna come in and out of the same hole. I typically, if you're noticing that I'm putting my finger in, it's because I wanna make sure that it's not tangled, but honestly, I think for the look that we're going for, and we're doing 3 strands, that we want it to kind of look a little wild, right? I mean, this guy to me seems like the kind of guy who has wild hair. So I'm gonna pull this down and then go in the canvas hole above. You will notice that the canvas hole I'm going in above is the same row as the others. All right, and then I'm just moving my way now. Since I started on the right and moved to the left, I'm now on the left and I'm moving to the right. And as I get close to where I can, catch my thread, then I absolutely will. In an ideal world, we're actually doing the line waist, not on the same line. I mean, I can feel that with the pull of the thread. That's actually definitely what we want to do. But people may not quite feel comfortable. They're like, I don't know about that because I'm only locking in 2 particular stitches and I'm not entirely comfortable. Then, a few lines down is an option for sure. I mean, this is a hobby and should always be fun. All right, so this is the tutorial on jump through the loop turkey work.